We are live at Chickie's and Pete's in Northeast Philly on Roosevelt Boulevard. Anthony SanFilippo, you wouldn't believe it. This man, he has a little bit of a tan. He just came back from spring training. Hope springs eternal. He flew in this morning to make sure that he was here. Bundy, of course, always ready, always game on.
And you know, I actually scheduled my flight so that I would not miss this edition of Snow the Goalie Radio.
That's great, Ed.
Wow.
Great stuff.
That's how much I like you boys.
A man of the people.
That's how much I like you boys.
Yes,
how much did Anthony SanFilippo sacrifice? Everything.
He missed a day in Florida to come back for this.
That's right.
He could have sat there for another few hours and then taken in some more sun.
I could have taken in another Phillies game. I could have flown home tonight without a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There were more flights in the evening, but I said, you know what? I'm going to get back just in time so that I could be up in the great Northeast at Chickie's and Pete's.
How was TSA?
TSA? Was it like there's like three people working?
Really?
It was actually fine in Philly. It really is. It really was. I know a lot of people are talking about it. Philly's TSA was not an issue. Tampa was a little bit little slower than I would say normal, but not ridiculously so. It was maybe 20 minutes to get through.
Right.
Did you see what happened out in Denver today?
I've seen
the power was out at the
Yeah,
airport, so
yeah.
all these people were like, they
It's
were on the
crazy.
trains, so the trains lost power, so they were away from the terminals, just kind of hanging out. It's like hundreds of people crammed together.
Yeah.
Yeah, not ideal. I'll tell you what else isn't ideal. It's getting warm outside. Everybody's starting to think about the fact that the spring is springing. The summer is not that far away. We'll get there for you in a second. And yet, hockey season isn't over yet.
No, it's still going.
And there's a 3-game road trip. We call it the make or break road trip. I mean, I don't know who we're trying to kid. It's mostly break.
Are you really calling it that?
Well, I mean, you kind of have to, don't you? Because otherwise you'll just cry into a pillow at night. If you think about how meaningless these 3 games against Anaheim, Los Angeles, and San Jose may, in fact, end up being. But listen, we spent the entire season talking about whether or not there was a potential opportunity here for this team to either make a late push to the postseason or to make a late collapse into the draft lottery. And yeah, this is pretty much the worst case scenario, I think, where they're at right now, guys.
Yeah, this is a real tough spot. You know, when you look at where the Flyers are in the standings, even if they were to have a good road trip here, you really start to go, oh, okay, wow, they got back to within 4. Like, that's a good road trip, right? They get back to within 4 if they have a good trip. That's not, that's still too far out. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. 4 points is 2 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, with the overtime losses and things like that, and you have teams you have to jump over, it really isn't that great. So you need a perfect storm to get back into the playoff race. You probably shouldn't have lost that game to Columbus last week that you guys were at.
Yeah.
That one probably really did you in.
Yep.
So, I mean, mathematically, you could sort of kind of maybe potentially get yourself back into conversation within, sniffing distance. But I don't think that you're really, really back into it. You need a lot to happen.
You can get it, though, from where you are, but they're going to have to go 3-0 on this trip. Like, I'm not even, sitting here taking it one game at a time. No, they need to go 3-0 on this West Coast swing if they want any chance at all.
Yeah,
you're right.
1-1-1 doesn't get it done.
Nope.
It's got, they've have to get 6
points. Even 2-0-1, you can maybe try to make the case that that's not the worst outcome, but still, it doesn't get you nearly close enough to where you need to go.
I will say, we talked on the last time I was on with you guys on this show before I left. The one thing that I thought was interesting was we talked about the Penguins schedule, how brutal it is in March, right? The one thing I didn't see happening was Detroit kind of falling back to you. And that's kind of what's happened here. The Red Wings are a team now suddenly in trouble.
Yes.
And you have 3 games against them remaining if you're the Flyers.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying if you're the Flyers to catch them. I think Columbus is probably going to catch Detroit. I'm just surprised that the Red Wings are a team where they are. How about you, Bundy?
Yeah, and they've got injuries, right? They've lost Dylan Larkin and Andrew Kopp for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So they're probably about a week into that. So they're going to have to survive another week to 10 days without those guys. But Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of winning during the year, but it doesn't matter what you do. If this time of year, if you're not putting together those games, you're going to get caught in the point department pretty quick. And I do think Detroit is in a lot of trouble. I think they're the team that's most likely to fall.
So I want to level set with everybody in case you haven't been looking at the standings. Let's just kind of get everybody caught up on where they're at. So the Flyers have played 66 games. That means they have 2 games in hand on Detroit, who has the second wild card spot, as does Boston. They've also played 68 games. The Islanders, who are third place in the Metropolitan Division, have also played 68. And then you have Pittsburgh, who has this killer month. They have played 67. So you have 1 game in hand on them. What it ultimately means is, as of recording tonight, you're 8 points back of either wild card spot. You're 9 points back in the Metropolitan Division. It's not quite insurmountable, but it's pretty damn close. And you also have to jump over Ottawa and Columbus to do it. Now, you do have another game remaining against Columbus. That'll be next week when they're back at Xfinity Mobile Arena. You do have 3 games coming up against Detroit to close out the year. But, like, if you look at it, right, even if you look at strength of schedule, Boston has the toughest remaining schedule. The Islanders are second. Pittsburgh is third. Columbus is fifth. Detroit is seventh. The Flyers are 11th. Strongest schedule remaining. So if you want to play that out, could you run a simulation and figure out a way for the Flyers to just squeak in? Maybe. But I think we've all kind of had the realization, maybe it took a little bit longer than, for some others, but like this thing is effectively done. I mean, they would have to have borderline divine intervention for things to go their way and to make a last second push. So I guess the real question here is, what's the point? Right? That's what I think a lot of fans are kind of thinking is like, what's the point of playing out these games? And rather than kind of dwelling in the negative of the reality, and the reality is very negative, it's another essentially lost season. There's no playoff. I guess, Bundy, like, what do players have to do right now over these last 16 games? Like, what is the thing that a player is actively working toward, being aware of the fact that, like, the playoffs are a very long shot?
Yeah, and right now, like I'm telling you, they're not thinking that the playoffs are a long shot. They're thinking to themselves, hey, we have a shot.
Sure.
Like, if we play our game, if we win a ton of games, we're going to have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So that's what they're thinking. They're not thinking, oh, we're this many points out, we're done.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking that. So, and again, like they're gonna have to be at their best. I mean, every player, if you're a new guy, Alex Bump, you got to keep doing the things that got you your call up and the way you played to stay here. But if you're the Flyers team, I mean, there's a lot of things that need to happen. You got to get that power play going. Somehow the power play has been a killer for this team of late.
Yeah,
they've had a chance to win games for them and hasn't gotten the job done. But no, I mean, if you're a player, stay focused, stay true to your task at hand nightly, and see where the points add up if they do it all at the end of the year.
I think it was kind of funny. Nick Aubé says, these 3 games are against good teams that they have to play something big. I don't know about you guys, but I look at these teams and look, I really like Macklin Celebrini and I like where the Sharks are headed. I wouldn't necessarily call the Sharks a good team. They got 70 points. Right. The LA Kings have 71 points. Yep. The Ducks, they're in first, but they got 77 points. Like these aren't teams that you're talking about. Like that. This is the Avalanche and the Stars and the Lightning
and the Wild.
The
Wild
right?
90. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's when you're talking about playing good teams. That's good teams, right? These are teams that you're kind of on par with. If you're looking at what the Flyers are versus them, you're kind of having similar seasons to these teams. So these are very winnable games. It's just tough to win 3 games on a road trip like this. Just because of the way the schedule.
And all 3 of those teams are all desperate too.
Yeah.
Every one of them is. LA's fight for their playoff lives.
Ducks aren't desperate.
Well, but they realize that they can
should.
lose games like they've gone in a bad streak already. If they go one more, they'll still fall out.
The Ducks should be a little bit worried right now. I mean, they did get the boost that Draisaitl's out the rest of the season for Edmonton, so that certainly helps their case of trying to win the Pacific. But like every game, every single point matters to them. I mean, the difference between first and third in the Pacific is a single point. So
Yeah, and I get it, Nick, that you're saying that these are just teams that are playing for something, but there's only a handful of teams that aren't playing for something right now in the
There's
NHL.
been a lot of parity in the league this year. In both conferences.
So almost every game is you could say that, no matter who your opponent is. So
does this actually help make the case for seeding 1 through 8 instead of the way that they do it?
Do you see how Bettman was so like, no, this is great. This current playoff system it's not going anywhere. It's great. And he's the big proponent of this.
Yeah, why? I don't understand why.
Because he's a moron. Like, let's be honest, okay? Yeah, he's terrible. And I've never liked Gary Bettman as a commissioner. I've had some people come up to me from the Flyers organization, go, well, Gary's not as bad as his reputation. I have not liked one thing about Gary Bettman.
If you look at Gary
As
Bettman's
a
past history, he has cost this league 2 full years of
Yeah,
lockouts.
I don't.
2
like
full
the
years
guy.
if you add them up.
Yeah.
I don't like how he runs business. How he runs a business. And no, I don't see any value in the playoff system that you currently have.
I mean,
Zero.
even something like the Winter Classic, which seemed like a brilliant idea, like you give him credit there,
Yeah,
right? You do. You give him and the people who are responsible for it. Great. What did they do next? They watered it down into the Stadium Series.
To
that
now
no one
that
cares
nobody
about.
cares.
They took it off of New Year's Day.
Even though some of them have been cool, like I think that the ones down in Florida were great this year. I think Tampa did a really nice job with their outdoor game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so like they're still getting some good outdoor games, but you're right. It doesn't have the appeal that it once had when it was the only outdoor game of the year.
Yeah, it felt special. Now it's just one of
many.
correct.
Yeah.
It is a weird spot. Now, there's this tricky spot that you kind of have to figure out, I think, if you're a fan right now, right? Fans inherently want their team to win, right? You don't want to make the drive down to the arena and watch your team get their doors blown off. This team throughout the year has had its spurts of looking really competitive. There have been nights where night in and night out, you don't know. I mean, they can go toe-to-toe with and even beat a Minnesota, but then they can flip around and lose to a bottom-feeding team like the next
Rangers.
2 nights later and get kind of decimated in doing so. It is a maddening team, and yet you have 16 games remaining. You still have, is it 8 at home or 7 at home? What's the pitch? Like, what's the elevator pitch right now if you're the Flyers?
16 games remaining.
No, I'm saying at home.
No, but I'm saying you said
16.
15.
I'm sorry, 16.
Yeah, 16 left.
What's the elevator pitch if you're the Flyers right now to get people to come out to the last 7 or 8 or whatever it is home games?
Well, you're gonna have Martone coming.
Yeah.
You've got Bump here, so there's you're infusing the lineup with younger guys that have been highly touted.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one selling point for sure. Come and see our new guys.
And I'm sure there's going to be others.
Yeah, there will be probably.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they do fall out at some point to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
I think you might see a couple other guys.
David
well.
Jiricek. You would assume,
Jiricek,
right?
Yeah.
maybe a Bonk, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Do they go after any other college free agents and maybe give them a run like they've done in the past? I mean, so it's possible. It's possible that you get that. So that's the angle you go for. Is you bring up some young players. I mean, nothing would be better for this team than Michigan State getting upset next week,
right
in the start
and having as many games as possible.
He could potentially, if they lost in the first game that they play, I think he could potentially play 9 games for them.
Okay, that'd be good.
If that would be if they lost the first game. They're going to be favored to go, and intern Andrew will probably knows better than anybody. They're probably top 2, 3 teams in the league, right? In college hockey. So they're favored to go out to the Frozen Four.
How's my Providence College looking, Andrew?
2 seed right now.
He says
2 seed?
2
seed.
2 seed.
I think
Oh,
they're going to
really?
be a 1 seed.
Oh,
You get to be top 4. Yep.
Yeah, I think they're there. I think it's Denver, Providence.
Michigan
Yeah.
State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so so that's the answer. I mean, Bundy's right. Like, you got the young players coming, so that's what you sell to the fans.
Uh-huh.
But you don't have to make that decision until after you see what this road trip looks like, right? If you're back within 4 points, they're going to be selling a playoff chase.
Yes.
They could sell. It's like listing something on eBay. You could list it for whatever price you want. I don't know if anybody's going to buy it. We'll see.
Will buy. You see,
People
If
will
they,
buy
if
it.
they
This is
win,
where-
if
this
they
is
win,
where
if they
you-
win 3 games, by all means, like
Yeah,
people are going to be.
If you're
people are gonna be
if
excited.
you're within 4 points,
Mhm.
going when you return home, people will buy tickets to see them try and get into the playoffs.
Yes.
Probably.
And I don't think they would. I still don't think they would get there.
No.
But what I'm saying to you is that there's more people who believe in what they're doing than there are fans who don't. We just happen to deal with a lot more of the fans who don't than You know what I'm saying? Like there is a large facet of the fan base for almost every team. I'm not saying this just for the Flyers. This is just in Philadelphia in general. Who are diehard supporters of the team. They may be frustrated, whatever, but they are not going to walk away. They're going to show up and they're going to root for their team to win every time out. And believe in what the team's trying to do.
There was that drunk guy a few weeks ago who was like very hell bent on the idea that the Flyers can still make the playoffs.
Yeah,
God
but
bless him.
it does come
Bless
down
his
to
heart.
this road trip. This is a make or break road trip for the team, and they need 6 points. They really do. Like I'm not even going to try to skirt it. They need to win 3 games on this road trip.
I think the math,
or it's going to be over.
The math that I did on my show last Thursday was like if they get to 20 of the 34 remaining, they end at I think 93, and then they probably end up missing the playoffs by 3 or 4 points. I mean, if you wanted to play this out where it's like, all right, you've got to get to 90. I think you said 90,
I said
97 the other day.
Yeah.
So you got to get 23 points out of the remaining 32.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a lot.
That's a Herculean task.
It's a lot. It's a lot for a team that's never won, that has not won more than 3 in a row all year. That's why we are all sitting here saying it's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean it can't. But it's very, very unlikely.
So can I ask the uncomfortable? I want to ask an uncomfortable question, but first I think you should remind everybody where we're at.
Well, we're at Chickie's and Pete's in the Great Northeast on Roosevelt Boulevard. We're at a different Chickie's and Pete's every Wednesday night, but during hockey season. But it's also there are 17 or more than 17 locations around the Philadelphia area, and you should go and check out Chickie's and Pete's and get some of the fine food that you get every time you go to Chickie's and Pete's. Russ, what did you get tonight? Did you get the chicken sandwich?
I went with 12 cold shrimp like Bundy.
Yeah, but
right?
did you get the chicken?
Oh, I got the grilled chicken sandwich.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in the chicken sandwich.
You're a chicken sandwich guy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice little vinaigrette on there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
A little bit of, I think, arugula on there, which is a vegetable. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's
little
great.
Leafy green.
It's great. I've ventured all over the menu in different times, whether it was the fish tacos, which I really like, the crab cake sandwich, which I really like. Their burgers here are pretty good. Which I've had as well.
The tailgate burger is the one that has the crab cake on the cheeseburger.
Yeah,
right?
the ultimate tailgate burger. Wow. Yeah, the crab cake on there, which is great. Bundy usually gets the traditional pizza to go along with the cold shrimp.
Yep.
And
the bowl of clam chowder. You got that
clam
chowder.
chowder is one of the best clam chowders you get.
That had the little oyster crackers on that today. Did I see that correctly? Nice little pile in the middle.
Yeah. And Billy from South Philly got the red mussels over there, right?
He did. Yeah, he got the red mussels.
He's giving
he's got mussels for his mussels.
He's giving the Italian,
the cheese pinch prayer hands.
Yeah,
it's
good. It's good. So make sure that you go out to your local Chickies and Pete's, or if you're down at the Flyers game, make sure that you check them out in either the East Food Hall or the Southeast entrance in front of Section 103.
There we go. Come out to Chickies and Pete's. Where are we next week? Do you remember?
Next week we
I can look it
are.
up.
I don't remember.
I know that our last one of the season is in Warrington.
Last one's in Warrington. I think we're back in Jersey. Are we in Jersey next week?
We in Marlton next week?
I think that's 2 weeks, Marlton.
I got it. I set you up for failure there, and I'm sorry.
You did.
We're in Marlton next week. No, we're not. Wait, what's next week? Next week is the 25th.
Yes.
We are at Chickie's in Ben Salem.
Oh, Parks.
At Parks.
Parks.
Okay.
So we're at Parks next week. Then we're in Marlton. Then we frolic off to Drexel Hill.
Back in my
neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And then the season wraps up with Warrington.
Unless there's playoffs, Russell.
Playoffs. You never know. Playoffs can happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I want to ask this in a way that doesn't just become a shouting match, because I have no intention of getting into a shouting match. But where this team has ended up is kind of like where I feared they would be. And this is often why I don't like the concept of kind of riding the fence and seeing like which way the team dictates you go. Because if you don't really tear it down, right, and if you don't add, which I'm not saying they should have necessarily added, you end up in a spot where your last 16, 17 games, effectively, they matter for player development, but they don't really matter for your end result, for wherever you end up landing. So I know you've been a very big proponent of like how they're doing this. When you get to a spot like this, though, and there's 16 games left, and like the playoffs are such a far cry, and you're probably looking at that 14, 15 pick scenario again, is there at least like a small part of you that goes, yeah, I mean, it probably would have benefited them to go a little bit more one way or a little bit more the other way, because this is
No.
sort of where you can't land.
No, and Russ, the reason, and I say this, and I will say this forever and ever and ever, and maybe it's just because I've always been a very competitive person. I never believe in doing something to lose intentionally.
Mhm.
I just don't. I just don't believe in that. I just think in the spirit of competition, you should try to win every freaking game that you play.
Mhm.
All right, no matter what sport it is, no matter what. And I understand why people say, well, your best chance is if you get this, and that's fine, except that I also don't like the gamble of let's give up an entire year and then cross our fingers and hope we hit that lottery.
Mhm.
Now, it's a little bit easier to stay in the top 4 in the NHL than it is in the NBA, right? Admittedly.
For sure. Yeah.
The NBA, it's a little bit harder, right? But you see what's happened in the NBA. It's gotten so outrageous. It's an epidemic,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's bad.
Mhm.
And so if teams really took that approach in hockey, you would have what you have in the NBA, which is now the sport doesn't know how to fix it. And it's hurt their attendance, it's hurt the game, it's hurt their product big time. So
The haves and have-nots in the NBA, I don't think have ever been farther apart.
yeah, it's as bad as it's ever been,
bad.
right? So it's because of that I am vehemently opposed to the idea of losing on purpose. That's just a me thing.
What are you saying about the NBA? The discrepancy between the top teams and the lower teams?
Between the haves and the have-nots, just because of the way that things have kind of played out.
Yeah.
I think that there's such a wide disparity.
Yeah, between the
league.
better teams and the
Yeah.
lesser teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which to some extent is why you do see teams
And
that what?
And I want to address this because I'm taking Nibson's comment here as a sarcastic one, right? And if I'm wrong on the tone,
Is that a tone thing? All right, go
well,
ahead.
if I'm wrong on the tone, I apologize. But I think Nibson's saying, "Oh yeah, that's all tanking is. It's a bad gamble." In other words, as if I'm saying there's more to it than that, right?
Mhm.
And I know we do know, and Bundy's pointed this out in the past, that if you go back and look at the teams that have won the Stanley Cup, there's at least at least one player on every Stanley Cup team in their last however many years that was a top 5 pick in the draft. Okay, fine.
Top
Top
two.
two.
Okay,
Top two.
whatever.
Top
Top two pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever. Okay, but I did this. I went back and looked at the last 10 drafts.
Mhm.
You know how many teams who have picked in the top 5 in the last 10 years have won a Stanley Cup?
I'm not sure.
In the last 5 years?
10 years.
Last
years.
10 years.
Last 10 years had a top 5 pick in the draft. You know how many have won a Stanley Cup?
When's the last time Edmonton picked there?
Oh,
They haven't won a Stanley
Won
Cup.
a Stanley
Well,
Cup.
that's right. I'm thinking of made it to a cup final. I don't know.
Florida?
One, Colorado. They had 2 picks, Bo Byram and Kel McCarr.
Kel McCarr. Okay.
Yeah, they're the only one.
Okay.
Every other team that's picked top 5 in the last decade
Mhm.
has not won a Stanley Cup. I think there might have been one other one that's reached the final. I have to go back and double check that,
Mhm.
but that's it. So that it just goes to show that there is no guarantee that even if you get that high pick, that it's going to translate quickly. It could eventually
Mhm.
down the line, because I mean, of course, all these teams that have won, right? They've had that pick at some point,
There's your counter.
right? At some point,
Yeah.
right. Yes, Barkov was the second pick, and Stamkos was the first pick.
And Eichel was a first pick, right? In
yeah,
he was,
but
but not with the team that
And
drafted
the
him.
Well, no.
defenseman for Florida was too. The Ekblad.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I'm not saying
You're kind of looking at through the lens of
What I'm saying is-
drafted in that top 5, kept that guy.
No. Even those guys were all kept. Everybody that's being mentioned in the comments, and you guys are talking about, you're 100% right.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is it takes longer than you think, even with that player, right? Even with those, Colorado they had 2 guys that they drafted, but they had already gone through the first round of this with drafting Landeskog high and McKinnon high, and then they had to get bad again to draft McCarr and Byram. So they had to do it a second time, right? And yes, those other guys, Florida had Ekblad and Barkov, but then they needed to get all these other players before they could. Those guys were drafted well beforehand, right? I mean, so it's not. It takes time.
I do think though that if you ask Flyers fans, what would you would you be fine with the path that a Colorado had to take or Florida had to take?
Of course you would,
of
because you
course.
haven't won a Stanley Cup in 50 years.
Yeah.
Of course you would. Of course you would. But if the drought weren't that long, if the Flyers had won a Stanley Cup, let's say the Flyers won in 2010, right? Let's say that they went to the final 2010. Let's say they figured out a way to beat Chicago, right? If you then said to let's say that happened and we had that banner hanging from the rafters, right? And then you said to Flyers fans today, would you be okay with not being good for the next 12 years if it guaranteed you getting a player of McKinnon's ilk or you know what I'm saying? Maybe not right away because that championship was more recent, right? But of course, if you wait for 50 years, you're antsy. You want that. So yes, give it to me whenever I can get it. I'll take that generational talent. Right?
Yeah, you have to take that top end talent.
You have to.
Yeah,
you have to, right?
Yeah.
But my point is that you aren't as a fan, you aren't as craving it when you've won more recently. You aren't craving it as much when you've won more recently.
I guess the Eagles Super Bowl is kind of the case in point.
I mean, look at the season. Look at their off season that they're having this year.
Yeah,
it's not great.
No,
but nobody's having a meltdown about it because they just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
That's right.
Right.
And there's also still a ton of elite talent on the team.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
it's not as if they've fallen off and they drastic and they needed to rely on free agency or trades to fill those holes.
Correct.
They also have a propensity in recent years of drafting very, very well.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to worry as much about free agent signings. The problem with the Flyers right now is that there are no free agents except for restricted free agents, unless you're going to offer sheet. The trade market looks a little bit bleak, especially based on what the cost of doing business was at the deadline. And you don't have this, and this is the last thing, is that you don't have a tradable asset, at least in terms of your own pick, to try to move up. And your pick isn't going to land high enough for it to really matter. That's why there's inherent frustration, I mean, listen, where they're at and where they have been the last few years, to me, is the worst place you could be. And we could go back and forth about whether or not it's good or bad for player development if they lose a lot of games. And it's never intentional. This whole concept of tanking is telling players to go out and lose. That's not being forthright. It's somewhat disingenuous. The concept of removing pieces is that every guy who goes out there is working as hard as possible.
But
you are hindering their ability to win games. But those guys are going out and they're working hard.
I understand what it means. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that I only believe that tanking means that you're losing, that players are losing games on purpose. It's management that's losing games on purpose by the players that
Take
they
the tools out of the
put out onto the ice. That's I understand that, right? But there's also here's the other thing, right? Everybody said, I should say everybody, because not everybody said this, but a lot of people said they should have traded Christian Dvorak rather than sign him. Because you could have gotten a draft.
If you were fully committed to a rebuild, but they're not. But yes.
But here's where, again, I push back against it. You can't have it two ways. You can't sit there and say, well, you can't get centers, right? And then when you have one that's at least a NHL caliber center, get rid of them and then not have anybody to have that center to replace them.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, remember, I didn't light my hair on fire.
No, right, but that's my point, and that's what I'm trying to.
If they were in the midst of an actual rebuild, like an actual tear it down rebuild, you don't bring back.
Well, they already missed that window.
No, I'm saying
if they were going to tear it down, they needed to do it 3 years
ago.
Which
which is why I think ultimately them bringing back Dvorak was okay, because you're not in year one of an attempted tear down rebuild.
Amadeo, they can trade him after 2 years. They can.
They could.
They could trade him after 2 years.
They could.
The whole back end of the contract is something that's tradable. Giving him that contract is what makes him marketable when he's no longer the guy that you think he can. And if maybe he is, maybe he's still usable, and you keep him as part of your team. But if not, that is when you see what the salary is going up to, a $5 million player that plays center, you can then trade in after 2 more years.
They'll have value.
Will have a ton of value. If you can't see that, I'm sorry.
The issue too, though, is in his scenario there, he says, Dvorak's a 3C. On a good team, he is. On this team, he's not. And that actually speaks to part of the problem is that they have no one in the pipeline to be a 1C or 2C, which actually then leads to a story that kind of started taking off yesterday. And I don't know if you saw it, Ant, because you're down there soaking up the sun, putting your tootsie toes in the sand, and
yeah,
smelling the ocean breeze.
did a lot of that.
Craig Button went on to a show and said, among many things, that the Flyers could ultimately look at trading Jet Lachenko, that they seem to still believe in Jack Nesbitt, but Lachenko could be a guy that they ultimately look to move as part of a package for something else. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, since he's been traded to Brantford, right, the team that we all agreed was the best team in that league, stacked team, should be racking up points galore. He's been below, and it's very slightly below, but he's been a below point per game player since getting moved to Brantford.
He's hurt, right?
And?
Well, I'm just saying, he's not in the lineup.
He's been out. He's week to week, Russ.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, since he got moved to Brantford, he was less than a point per game player.
But he played for 4 different teams this year. He played for the Flyers. He played for Guelph. He played for the World Junior team, and he played for Brantford. I mean, it's small sample sizes in all 4 places, and then he's injured. So, like, it's hard. It's hard to sit there and say, well, you should be dominating when you're playing with new people every couple weeks. I mean, it's difficult. That said, and I'm not sitting here trying to say they shouldn't trade Jet Lachenko. I mean,
my question is, like, what kind of value does he actually have?
I think he's a depth line player in the NHL.
Well, I mean, he might have, but he's still going to have value.
I think he is.
Because of his speed. His speed alone is his value. And
there's a lot of fast guys on third and fourth line.
And he's a 200-foot player. Like, there's value to that player. He's going to have value. The fact that you think that he is not anything is what's comical to me, because he's going to play in this league. There's a story, and you want to talk about what
Hold on. What does that mean that I don't think he's going to be anything? I think just like Bundy, he's got like maybe bottom 6 potential.
Yeah, he doesn't. I said that at Christmas time after watching the World Juniors.
But that's not a guy that you like. That's not a success in the second draft of the rebuild. That's the guy that you got. Is my point. Like if his ceiling is ultimately being a 3C, if he were the 23rd pick in a draft, awesome, good job. Like you did.
So Russ, go back and look at how many guys picked in his spot turn out to be star players.
Can I just look at like relative to other
Tyson
players?
Forster could be. He was drafted
sure.
right there.
Yeah,
at that spot.
Could be.
Can I look at like relative to other players that were taken around him? I mean, I'm not here saying that Steve Bouillon is going to eventually
his underlying
be one of the. I know. I'm not saying
numbers,
I'm not saying
They're
he's going to be
good.
one of the best defensemen in the NHL. I'm not telling you that Hellenius is all of a sudden going to be a bona fide 1C. I'm just noting that those two guys who are also taken in the same area, they're both contributing to an NHL team right now. They're going through their growing pains. They're doing it at the NHL level.
They're also a year older than Lachenko.
Okay. Well,
they were a year older.
We'll see. All right. So this time next year,
he's
a year older.
So there's a story today, which you probably didn't see, written by Jordan Hall at NBC, where he called and did an interview with Jay McKee, who is Jet Lachenko's coach, who talked glowingly about the kid. So, I mean,
Jay McKee, who's friends with, has a friendly relationship with.
Okay, he played
the guy who drafted him. I mean,
he played with Briere. I get it. Yeah, of course, but he's also his coach.
Sure.
Like, I mean,
well, what's he going to do? I mean, but Ann, in fairness, like,
okay, he's not going to kill the kid.
He's not going to. And I mean, okay,
yeah. There's only one answer the coach could give there, Ant. That's a fact.
Yeah, but he's
and it's NBC is the one that's doing the interview, and like,
so we're trying to sit here and say Jordan Hall is because he works for NBC.
No, he's good at what he does, but I'm saying you're certainly not going to see something that's like.
Nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier than Jet Lachenko turns into a legitimate NHL player.
I hope he does.
For the Flyers.
I hope he does.
I hope he turns into a legitimate NHL player in the league. For another team, even.
I said on my show this morning,
would make me happy.
He'll play in the league, but it's a matter of what he's going to be.
He's saying like he hopes more than anything that he becomes much better than that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and maybe it'll happen. I would love to be wrong. I would love for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we go back and Amadeo clips up every bad Jet Lachenko take.
No, because you know why you won't do it? Because he's got just as every bad Jet Lachenko take that you do. He's right there with you.
I'll have intern Andrew do the clips.
Right, intern Andrew will have to clip that one up.
Intern will have to do it.
Yeah, Amadeo will clip it up, but he'll take out all of his comments that are on the screen.
I don't see it. Maybe it'll be different. Like maybe he will be a better player than people think.
Yeah, I don't know, Russ. I mean, again, I don't.
But anyway, this comes back to the question though. Craig Button throwing out the idea that they could trade him. My question is like, what kind of value does he have, right? Because even if you go back to the potential Quinn Hughes trade, right? And I put out like what I had kind of gathered was the potential price there that Vancouver would have for the Flyers. Lutsenko wasn't the first piece, the second piece, or the third piece. He was maybe the fourth piece of a trade for a player that is an impact guy. What kind of value does he actually have on the market if you were going to look to move him?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've not. It's not like I'm sitting here talking to every general manager in the league saying, "Hey, what do you think of Jet Lutsenko and what would you give up for him?"
Yeah.
Like I don't think the Flyers are ready to do that just yet. And now, if they can get an impact player, and they have to give up a prospect as part of it, sure. Sure, but the Flyers aren't trading Jet Lutsenko to get rid of him. Like they're not sitting here going, yeah, we don't like the kid, we don't think much of him, we're going to get rid of him. If you're going to get an impact NHL player that helps your team, and oh, by the way, that to get that player, we have to include Jet Lutsenko in the trade. Sure, they would do it. Sure, but they're not sitting here going, yeah, we think this was a miss. We got to get rid of this guy. They're not doing that.
Yeah, that's why I'm just surprised that came out. I'm surprised that was like a talking point, is that they would look to move on from him. No, just
they're not looking to move on from him.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say to you. That's not what they're trying to do.
Craig Button said the Flyers will look to do.
Right. Yeah.
I'll go to this real quick. Philo Originals over on YouTube says, notice how Bundy and Russ never mentioned Lutsenko tore up the AHL playoffs last year. He had 6 points in 7 games. He had 6 assists. Almost a point per game guy.
He was their best center
last
year.
He had a really nice stretch of 7 games playing for the Phantoms.
And the fact, and you want to know why Lappy's not here anymore?
Because he didn't
play him enough.
He wouldn't play him in late in games.
Yep.
It's why he's not here any longer. So,
I mean, we'll see. Listen, next year I expect him to be on the Phantoms. We'll get a better feel for what kind of a player he is.
Yes,
and hopefully he proves everybody wrong.
Next year is an important year. And you're not going to get me to sit here and say otherwise. Lutsenko is a big year for him next year when he plays for the Phantoms.
Yeah,
this kind of thing also drives me nuts, right? So ZCAN 1995. Can Russ say something positive? It's exhausting to listen to. I would love nothing more than to be able to come on this show every week and talk about how awesome the Flyers are and how great it is to have a team that's top 3 in the conference that has a legitimate path to a Stanley Cup final. I would love that. I would love nothing more. Do you people think, I'll say ZCAN, do you think I enjoy 41 or however many games I make it to every year? Do you think I enjoy 41 nights away from my wife and kids to go down and watch a team get their teeth kicked in every night? I don't.
Well, they don't get their teeth kicked in every night.
Some nights they do, and sometimes they waffle, and sometimes they play until what time, Bundy? Like 11:15? I swear it's later.
The game
and later.
the other night was 3 hours and 5 minutes. Saturday night.
I would love nothing more
3
than
hours
to go
and 5
down
minutes.
and
It ended at 10:40. Started at 7:37. Yeah.
I'd love nothing more than to go down and cover a team that does that. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. I'm also not going to go state-sponsored media here, right? This isn't like the North Korean telecast where I tell you that the Flyers have a 99.97% approval rating on everything that's happened this season. Not doing it. Are there positives? Yes. Let's get to positives. But first, go to that.
Well,
we'll come out with positives.
Well, this has to be a positive.
This is a positive.
This is a sponsored positive. By the way, I got an answer for you. So while I was down in spring training, I'm going to tell you. So it's time for the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. So while I was down at spring training, we had a client's trip where a lot of the clients from our company come down and they come hang out, whatever. And I got to meet the owner of Payroll Service Solutions.
Get out of town.
Dan Maggiani?
Dan Maggiani. And I said to him, you always come up on our show a few times, Dan? I said, because we do the read and we talk about how you cater to small, medium-sized businesses. I said, but my partner Russ keeps saying, well, what about
if you have a large company, can you split it into the small and medium size to cater to those? And
he said that their preference is to not go big. He says and he gave a lot of reasons, and they were all sound reasons to not go big. He said, but he does have a couple of 500 employee clients.
Wow.
Well, how about that?
So yeah, he's a bit, not many. His wheelhouse is the smaller and the medium-sized clients. So there you go. So I did.
Great guy. Big Flyers supporter.
Huge Flyers guy.
Yeah.
Huge Flyers guy. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So just so you know, I did that or whatever. All right. So now we got to do Player of the Week. You guys would have a better read on this than me, but from afar, just kind of checking in while I was away, I would say to me it has to be Owen Tippett.
I'm actually thinking leading from afar. I'm going with Vladar.
Again,
Yeah,
Okay.
he was really, really good against Columbus.
All right.
Kept the team at, gave him a chance to get to the shootout. He let in 1 goal in the shootout, but I thought he was great.
Okay. All right. I mean, obviously, because it's not just the Columbus game; it goes back to the.
I'm trying to see what the game was before.
What was that? What was the game that you guys did? Minnesota. Oh, the Minnesota game.
He was great. He played in that game, didn't he? Or was that Urson? I think might have been Urson. Let me check. I'll check right now. Hold on.
I'm trying to. No. Urson was the night before that, right? Wasn't that the back-to-back?
Yes, yeah.
So
It was Vladar.
That was Vladar. Vladar was against
21
Minnesota.
saves on 23 shots
Yeah.
faced against Minnesota.
Yeah. So okay, so you got Vladar had 2 good games.
He was 3rd star in that game in Minnesota too.
So Jackie didn't pick him.
She should be allowed to pick again.
So Jackie didn't pick him. Okay.
She should be relieved of her picking duties.
All right. So you got Vladar. So 2 good games. He had 2 good games last week. He was really good against Columbus, even though they lost, right?
Yeah. He didn't get a star against Columbus. So
Really?
tells me who might have been picking stars that night.
Got to look that one up. Andrew,
He was really good against Columbus.
Andrew, who picked the stars on Saturday? Find that one out for us. That should tell you in the box score. So all right. So I went with Tippett, but again, I didn't get to watch the games. So I was again doing that from afar. Bundy goes Dan Vladar. Russ, what do you got?
I'm going to keep rocking and rolling with the MVP of the season. It's Dan Vladar.
Okay. All right. I think this will be like his 7th time winning this.
He should
Yeah.
have. I mean, you can make a case that almost every week, except for the week that he was hurt.
Yeah. I mean,
He
he had
should-
that
I mean,
one bad game.
The Ranger game.
Yeah.
game was not great, right?
Everybody gets one.
Yeah. That was probably his worst game of the season.
Yeah, it was maybe the only time he had a game like that all year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. All right. I'm going to trust you two. Again, I did not.
Who'd you go with again?
I went with Tippett. I think Tippett's had a couple of good games.
He's
been
had-
playing better, right?
Wasn't great against Columbus.
Okay.
Just okay.
We were
All right.
kind of looking for him to take that next step against Columbus
Yeah.
and kind of keep it going.
All right. Fair enough. So Dan Vladar, yet again, for about the 7th, we should go back and double check this, but it's about 7 times
Put intern
this
on
year.
that one.
That you've been named the Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week. It's brought to you once again by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again at 1-866-PAY-EASY. Now, what do
So
you
I'm going to get to positives.
positives? Go
I
ahead.
want to live in a positive world, okay? And this, by the way, is very true.
Mhm.
Johnny P88 says Dan Vladar is the sole reason this team is in a bottom 5 team in the league. I think we'd all probably agree. If this team had the same situation in net as a season ago, Erson on injured list like 3 times, Kolosov and Fedotov, this team is
It would be interesting.
like
sure.
certainly closer to bottom 5 than where they are right now.
Yeah, it's possible because Vladar really made beginning of the year. He was sensational.
He was
Like,
he was
unbelievable.
top 5, top 6 in virtually
Yes,
every
everything.
major counting stat for a goalie.
Yeah.
He's played far beyond anything I think they could have ever expected. Okay. So I want to try to live in a little bit of a world of positivity here.
I'll
Again,
be right back.
16 games remaining. Let's think about some guys who have actually done the job and have gotten better and who you kind of hope to see even more out of over the last 16 games. I'll start with a guy who has certainly had a lot of highs. He had like not a regression a little bit into his tenure here, but he's also a guy that no one expected to see up as early as he was. Denver Barkey.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I think if you are trying to sell the fan base on the idea of someone who's earned his way onto the team and is worth going out to see every night, you're not buying a ticket specifically to see Denver Barkey, but he's certainly a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. And he surprised the team, Russ.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, they didn't think he'd be ready this year. There's not a player, there's not an executive on the team, a coach in the system who thought Denver Barkey's ready for the NHL in 25-26. They thought eventually, they thought he would get there, but they thought he needed a lot more time to develop.
Yep.
And he kind of arrived pretty quickly. And so, yeah, that is definitely a positive.
So
Definitely a positive.
Barkey to me is easily one of the most positive signs of the season.
Yeah.
Let's go next to a guy who everybody expected to be the call-up before Denver Barkey, but because of injury, certainly wasn't the one. Alex Bump.
Alex Bump.
Your thoughts on Alex Bump so far, Bundy?
Really good. Makes smart plays with the puck. Wants to hang on to the puck. He's good in the corners. He's got a motor on him, but he doesn't stop out there. And one thing he doesn't hesitate to shoot the puck. He shoots the puck when he gets the opportunity to do so. And I think that's been lacking with the Flyers a little bit this year, the ability and willingness to shoot the puck. So I love what I've seen. I mean, this is a guy who's a 5th-round draft pick, That could be a really great find for this team if he continues playing the way he has. And he may be one of those guys when I watch him, he may just be a better NHL player than he was at any other level he's played at. Than he was at the American League or college level. He may just turn out to be a great NHL player.
Yeah, could be.
So you got Barkey, you got Bump.
I got one for you.
I was thinking a defenseman. Who are you thinking?
Jamie Drysdale.
That's where I was going to go next.
Yeah, I really think Jamie Drysdale is probably the most unheralded improved player this year. If he doesn't, what's the award? The most improved?
Ashby?
No, that's
the Pelly Lindbergh.
Pelly Lindbergh is most improved. If he doesn't get the most improved player, that's a miss. That's a miss as well.
Agreed.
Like
make a case for Owen Tippett too, but
could.
He's had similar numbers.
Yeah, but his numbers are right. They translate from one year to the next. I think Jamie Drysdale a year ago, there was a thought like this kid will never figure it out, and then all of a sudden this year, he's been one of their most reliable defensemen.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I think his offensive game is starting to come around a little bit. Right?
Yeah, shooting the puck well. He's starting to handle the puck better on the power play. The power play needs to be better, but he's the quarterback of that thing, and he needs to really get clicking with the rest of the guys on it.
Yeah,
he's done a great job though getting shots through.
Yeah, for sure. So that would be another positive. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Drysdale, and then let's actually stick with the guy that Bundy also brought up as being an improved guy. I think it's especially been of late, but Tippett's play and his style and kind of leaning more into this idea of being more of a power forward instead of being like a physically bigger guy who's just super, super quick. That to me kind of fits more of what this team needs.
Right.
And probably is the path to him being a much more successful, impactful player. Correct? What? What?
Sorry.
Filler originals.
Yeah.
Like Bundy.
Tippett's one of the reasons why the Flyers are still in this thing.
Yes.
He's been their best player for the last dozen games or so.
At least, if not a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You probably missed it during part of it because they were in that bad stretch in January.
And he was still playing well.
And he was playing well.
Yeah.
And you probably didn't notice it because you were just noticing how bad the team was. But Owen Tippett was playing well. This has been the most consistent, and this is why my buddy brought him up, and I think it's important to point this out. This is the most consistent Owen Tippett's been since he got here.
Yes, agreed.
Right?
Agreed, yeah.
He was normally – the thing with him had always been he would flash for, 7 or 8 games, and then he'd disappear for 15. Mm-hmm. And then, then he'd go on that hot streak again, and then he'd disappear. This is the most consistent stretch of hockey that I've seen from Owen Tippett, and I think it goes back to January, early January. That's good. That's 2 months of hockey.
I want to see what the last 16 look like. If he wraps up and he continues to play this way, then all of a sudden I think that's something you actually can carry into the offseason as momentum. And actually, it gives you it gives you 2 options if you're the Flyers at that point. You have a player who certainly is more valuable to your team. You also have a player who's probably more valuable in the eyes of other GMs as well. And we know that there have been teams that have been interested in Owen Tippett. I don't know if they'll actually make a move in the offseason, but him playing this style is something this team desperately needs. They desperately need somebody to play with a little bit of weight. To be fair, they have a lot of guys who are on the smaller side.
Yeah.
Or those who maybe are of the height requirement, but don't have a lot of oomph.
Yeah, no, I think that there's a reluctance to move Tippett because you don't really have
a replacement
that player elsewhere on the team or in the system or coming soon.
We did have this conversation though that like Bump is going to need to have a spot. Martone is going to need to have a spot.
I agree. I think it makes sense. But what I'm telling you is the reason that there's been a reluctance to do it to this point is because you don't have that player. Mm-hmm. But something's got to give.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that give is, and maybe, and look, I don't think Trevor Zegras is a center. Mm-hmm. I think Trevor Zegras is a winger, but he's playing center right now. By God, he's 5 for 30 in the faceoff circle.
I know. It's terrible.
5 for
Terrible.
30. His face-off percentage is 31%.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about possession? Like, you got to win 50% of your draws. Like, you cannot constantly put your team behind the 8 ball possession-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's not the – I mean, there's other concerns. I think he's a winger. But they're letting him play center for right now. If for some reason he can figure that out and stay there, then you can buy out Coots, and then you don't have to worry about moving Tippett.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you can do that.
You think you could buy Coots out as early as this summer?
Unless you find somebody who's willing to take some of
Right.
that money.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can bring it back.
I mean, really, when you think about it, that's a player, right? Like, unless somebody picks him up, the Flyers buy him out,
Yeah.
he could be done.
Yeah.
He could be done playing in the league, unless he goes for, a league minimum somewhere after the buyout.
Yeah.
Somebody wants a veteran guy.
Yeah.
That's how quick it happens, though. When you're
Yeah.
at the top and you fall out of the top and you're not there anymore, it's really hard to stay up on that at that level.
And it's a shame for him too, because like I know that people like to pile on Couturier because his play has fallen off. And I always go back to the human element of it with the 2 back surgeries. He didn't sign up for that, right? Like that's not like a guy who chose to like get himself involved in the wrong things. That's not somebody who by happenstance found himself involved with the wrong people, and that's what made his career crash out. He had 2 back surgeries. Like I will always kind of feel bad for the guy. He made a lot of money, made a lot of great money playing a game that he loved, that a lot of people love. But I do feel bad for him. And now you get to the end here, and it's like
You absolutely
to
feel
have it
bad
kind of
for him.
like taken away at a time
he's-
in his career where, in theory, he would be maybe not in the prime, but he would be on that back end of prime. It's a shame.
He was a warrior for this
For
team.
sure. He played really well for a lot of years here.
He was a warrior for this team. Of course you feel bad.
Yeah.
Of course you feel bad. That's why it's like, we all see it. We all see what's happening.
Mhm.
But to sit there and just absolutely crush the guy is unwarranted.
Yeah.
Completely unwarranted. So, I mean, yeah, I feel bad as well. By the way, Andrew, did you ever figure out who it was that did those stars?
It said PhiladelphiaFlyers.com. So is that Meltzer?
Flyers.com.
Meltzer.
Meltzer, okay.
Yeah. So Meltzer didn't give Ladar a star on Saturday. Got to yell at Bill.
We're gonna have to take Bill to task.
Yeah, gonna have to take him to task.
Yep. Hey, I want to go to something that happened. It was put out there by an agent a little bit ago.
Always love the tweeting agents.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Walsh.
More than ever. Oh, yeah.
Alan
Walsh loves to tweet more than any agent.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the king of the tweeting agents.
Yeah.
So he tweeted out a little bit before the show went live. Hearing there was a heated exchange between Gary Bettman and an NHL GM during the GM meetings. The GM said to Gary that it appears the league has relaxed its standards on headshots. Gary was irate with the question and blasted the GM. This GM has my vote for GM of the year.
I don't know. I mean, have they relaxed it that much?
I don't know. I mean, I think when you look at some of I don't think it's been relaxed. I just don't know if you've seen the quantity of the headshots that you once saw, right?
Right.
Like I don't know if you see it. I have a lot of issues with the Department of Player Safety.
I still think that the Gudis hit
It was
even all
just
this time.
insane.
We talked about this.
Yeah, on our show Saturday night. But to give him only 5 games for ending your captain's season with a
an
thigh
intentional
contusion and
an
an
intentional
MCL tear,
Yep.
I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of people that have a lot of gripes with the Department of Player Safety, and I think rightly so.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. But I don't know about hedge. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, do I see more targeting happening? Like head targeting? I saw it more in years past than I did this year. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm there on that, but I agree on other things with Department of Player Safety.
What other issues do you have with the
Well,
Department of
like
Player
Bundy
Safety?
was talking, I really don't think that they handle their suspensions well, nor do I think that they. I don't know. I don't think that they. I think that they do one and then they get to there and go, well, this is different. That we're going to take each one on their own accord, and we're not going to set precedents and whatever. Like, I just think it's a little all over the place. And I think it's been that way for a long time. I don't think this is just now. I think Department of Player Safety's kind of been misguided for a while, Bundy.
Yeah, I mean, but there seems to be one guy making the call, right? And if there's no consistency to it, or there's no way to deter future suspensions. I mean, like the Malkin chop over the head of
5 games.
5 games.
Crazy.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, 5 games.
I mean, even if you're a first-time offender, it should have been 8 games. You can't slash someone across the head with your hockey stick.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, no, it's 5 games. It's a repeat offender 5 games, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think of that from Nick Abe on YouTube? Says the guy should be out as long as the guy he injured.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I
If
go
you can
that
prove
far.
intent, I think it's a little bit
Yeah,
different.
yeah, that would be. It's hard to say because, I mean, sometimes there are hits that knock a guy out for just because of the body part that you got, right? And it may not have been as intentional. I mean, there are guys who get suspended a game or 2 games for something that was, you know, a bad hit, but maybe not intentional. But what if that same hit was like, unfortunately, cost a guy 25 games? Is that
Right.
Is that a 25 game penalty?
You're suspending a guy for 25 games.
That's a
That's a lot of money,
That's
too.
a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that should be that case. Although I do think that maybe you could have a standard that if it's your 3rd time you're getting suspended, that the 3rd time onward, maybe yours suspension matches the time the guy is out.
Right.
Because that means you're a problem.
Yes.
If you're doing it, if you're suspended 3 times.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the way to do it. So, but anyway,
So with the last few minutes of the show,
we're going to talk about your TV appearance.
no. Do you want to? I'm like, that's not a great use of our
No,
time.
we don't need to fill his head with any more.
That's right.
You should have said, no, but Bundy,
You can go find that appearance over on the Restoration Show YouTube channel.
Bundy, the best part about it is that he got like all cleaned up. Like he shaved, he put gel in his
I
hair.
did.
He had like this whole like coif thing going.
Yeah.
And then he didn't realize he was on camera and he got caught texting on the side of the screen.
It was before I went on.
Yes. And then
Producers got to like pull me to the side and say, "Hey, man, like you're in the camera shot."
then
There's
when,
no live camera in there.
then when
What
he-
were you talking about?
The NCAA tournament, of which I'm an expert.
Do you have a clue what you're talking
of
about?
course, Johan Rojas having his suspension upheld by Major League Baseball. Dallas Goedert re-signing. I think that was it.
no hockey.
There was no hockey.
Yeah, no hockey at all.
Yeah.
And then he didn't realize he was on camera and he was sitting in his chair
Oh,
and he was swiveling back and forth like a little kid.
Like a little kid playing on like those things you ride at the
And from what I
supermarket.
understand, his wife was texting him to stop swiveling.
Yeah, I didn't see it because I had my notifications off. So
That was Russ's big.
are we supposed to
big
all
TV
are you supposed to
debut.
have, like don't we all still have a kid in all of us, right? Isn't that how it's all supposed to work?
That's-
No, I
that's
was
cool, Russ.
I was gonna say with the last few minutes that we have, we're
Which is only
again,
2, by the way.
we said it's a make or break road trip. They've got Anaheim tonight. Let's focus specifically on that game. The vitriol that Flyers fans have for Cutter Gauthier is what adds to that atmosphere when the Ducks come to Philly. I don't expect it to be as raucous of a crowd in Anaheim.
No, I
for
think
the
that
Flyers coming to town, or do you think those Ducks fans are going to look to like give it to the Flyers because of the treatment they get here?
Not at all. And as a matter of fact, I think you're going to see a lot of 11 and 46 jerseys.
Yes,
in
I
the
agree.
crowd.
I think they're going to give a lot of love to Zegras tonight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He had apparently a good relationship with the fans out there. They really liked him. They liked his quirky behavior, kind of, the way he was on the ice, like a kind of a fun-loving golden retriever. And they love that.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to give him a little celebration tonight.
Yeah, I do too. So I don't think you're going to see as much anger. Plus, it's Anaheim. I mean, come on. This is the Ducks are.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness gracious!
From Tony
Tony
sent
Escargot
sent cannoli
sent cannoli
to the show.
This is a new level for this guy.
That's next level.
Beautiful looking cannoli, though.
Attaboy, Tone. Attaboy, Tone.
Attaboy.
Hey, good job.
What is happening?
We got to wrap.
What does he say? He says you got cannolied by Escargot.
We got. Yeah.
I think that's an appropriate
my
way to
line
end the
was
show.
you got Escargot.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like it. He
He should Tony Escargot to the polls.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to all of you next Wednesday. I think that's the next time that we're together.
Correct.
There's no home game until next
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or no,
next Tuesday, right?
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, there's a
Yeah.
home game. So
That's
Xfinity Mobile Arena for the Press Row Show. Then we're back next week at Parks Casino at Chickies and Pete's. So for Ant, for Bundy, for intern Andrew, for Chris on the ones and twos, I'm Russ. Thanks for tuning in to Snow the Goalie. We'll talk to all of you next week.